Okay, welcome. Hey, we left off not having the parts to kind of finish this off. Uh, we're we're gonna follow through. We got some freewheel protectors. I got them over here, and we're gonna upgrade this headset. When I first got the bike, this piece was missing, and yeah. So let me scoot it back here a little. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, when I first got the bike, it was just a beat up 3-speed without a chain guard, and it didn't have this little crown piece. And there's something going on inside of here that doesn't feel great. And the fact that someone's been in there before makes me kind of wonder what's going on. So we're going to deal with that. And I went to the local bike junkyard today and got a bunch of really bad plastic spoke protectors, freewheel protectors. This one I don't really think I'm going to use at all. And then this one is very yellow and cracked, and we might have to use this one, but I'm really hoping to use this newer one that was so cheap someone didn't want to use it. The problem is if you use a Schwinn one on a non-Schwinn wheel, it kicks out the freewheel. It kicks it out towards the frame stay. And then you either get the chain stuck against the frame and fifth gear, or it'll kick it out in a way to where the freewheel is really tight against this, and you won't be able to get it into first gear because some of these aren't designed. It's a different kind of freewheel. So when you have a non-Schwinn freewheel, you kind of got to stick with the plastic stuff that Shimano came with. That way the freewheel doesn't move and there's room to get first gear. This is kind of a wimpy one, and it may not work. We might have to try to pound this center part out. And I don't know, this is pretty bad. Anyway, we're going to see what we can do. I think the first thing we're going to do, I think the first thing we're going to do is address this crown and headset. And while we're at it, we're going to upgrade. We're going to do an upgrade on the headset and put one of these in instead of this style. You'll see. I do this on a lot of bikes. It helps a bunch of grit and stuff not go in there. And you're basically putting a 10-speed Continental or Varsity style, which is basically this. You pound this top race in, and then the bearing goes there, and then this other piece goes here. And it just kind of, I don't know, I really like to use these because the water and dirt don't get caught in there as if you were going to use this style. Just something about it. The water, well, I guess the water would wick off, but I just like using this style. It makes the bike look nicer. Although this is a little bit blue. And the reason it's blue is because I had to use a torch to get it off some other bike. And it's the only one I have. So we're just going to go with this. I'm sure the heat treating is fine. It doesn't look like I heated it that much. Anyway, let's get going here. We've got stuff to do. All right, so we're going to take these bars off. Yeah. Oh, and I got a new chain too. You remember that chain was pretty bad. So we're going to put this chain on too. It's the world's cheapest chain in the world, but it's okay. All right, let's take these bars off real quick. Let's see. Before I do that, before we undo the bars, we're going to hold them and grab this bolt and make sure it even comes off. And it does. So that's good. So we know that's loose. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so we're going to take these cables off real quick. And to do that, you just press really hard. Okay, if you got a little play, you can press really hard. And when you release, you grab that ferrule and pull it towards you like that. And then you got the cable off, just like that. Sometimes you might have to crunch the front brake. if there's not enough, or the back brake, if there's not enough room. But usually if you've got them adjusted right, you can crunch down on the handle and then pull that out. So you ready? There we go. It's kind of like crunch the handle and pull it out at the same time. You'll figure it out. They come right out. Okay, so we got these loose. That's good. Let's pop this stem out real quick. Yeah, we're going to take this off-roading tomorrow. So there were some things during the live feed. This is kind of the second live feed. There were some things I didn't get to. And one of them was the freewheel protector. Use a bronze hammer. Go. And one of them was, which isn't really necessary. We don't have to have this, but somebody's been in there and they've been monkeying around, and I haven't repacked what's in there and it feels kind of funky. So we're going to kind of go through it, put this crown back on and convert it to the headset that I want. The upgrade. Okay, oh, not much grease in there. A little. Okay, so we already loosened this bolt. And we're gonna, oh, look, there's a little washer. That's good. Sometimes these little washers are missing with the little notch. That's nice to have, very important. Nice to have it on there. Sometimes they're just not there. It's like people losing stuff when they work on bikes. All right, so we'll just let that slide. And if we were really, intelligent, we could kind of get these out of the way. This one's coming with it, though. Let's take the front brake off. Now, see, I left the cable on the brake and pop it back in the handle. This is all adjusted for this bike. So I'm trying to save a little bit of time doing it that way. Oh, another thing we have to do, and I'll show you in a moment. I know this is a lot of work just to go off-roading on this, but your experience riding a bike should be enjoyable. And when things are messed up, then you're not really having fun. You're worried about your bike. Okay, so another thing we're going to do real quick is the back tire. I reseated it the other day. It seems to be okay. But the front tire, since we're going to have the front wheel off and we're doing the fork, the front tire is in some very bad need of some reseating. Like, you're going to feel that. If you look at that, you're going to be hopping around pretty hard. It's not going to be an enjoyable ride. Right, Lovey? He's coming over here to supervise. Okay, so we're going to take this front wheel off. And when we have it off, we'll go out on the porch and spray some. We'll let the air out. We'll spray some silicone or Armor All or whatever I got. And we'll try to pump it up really hard and make it pop out. We'll see. That may not work. The tire just might be too old and it's sitting too long. It happens. Sometimes it happens like that. You think you can reseat it, but it sat so long. There's just a really bad flat spot, So let's take that out. Let's not bend our fender. Yeah, I don't think I've been in this. I have not repacked this fork. I think I just got the bike and, silly me, trust somebody else that it was good. Yeah, something's going on in there. All right, so we're going to take this out. And then we're going to pound the race off and put my, we're going to pound this race off. We're going to put this crown back on the way it should be. There's some grease in there. I wonder what somebody was doing. They took that cone off. They took the crown off. Huh. Looks like some fairly fresh grease in there. They took the crown off, and I guess They wanted a real Schwinn racer. They wanted it light. All right, we'll set this to the side for a second. We got bigger fish to fry here. Wipe some of this old stuff out. All right, let's put this crown on. And to do that, we have to pound this other race off. Get this goo off of here. It's almost like I've been inside this. I know I've never repacked this though. All right, so we're going to pound this race off. We're just going to set it down on that wood stand. Just to be safe, we'll put this back on just to save the threads because we are going to be pounding on it. And for this particular job, we are going to use an actual ball peen, but I'll show you, we're not going to be pounding on threads. We are just going to pop this race off with a nice dull chisel. So we're going to go over here. You guys here? Yeah, you can kind of see what's going on. It shouldn't take much. There we go. All right, so let's put the crown on this. First, let's take a really good look at this and make sure somebody didn't mess this up. Make sure there's no freeze damage. Sometimes when water goes in here and people let it sit out in the winter, it splits the tube open. But this one was probably stored inside or it didn't get the freeze, which is good. Everything looks good. It looks in pretty good shape. There's no seams that are busted from freezing. Okay, so we're going to put the crown on now. This should be, I took this off of a breeze bike. It happens. And here we go. Now we have a crown. I don't know why someone took that off. Maybe they wanted their bike to be light. Okay, so we've got this race that came off of there. And I've got another one that's cleaner, but let's just look at this one very carefully. This was on the bike. I don't know why someone took the crown off. I have no idea. Oh, there's people. Hey, look at that. I didn't even know anybody was going to watch today. I'm just trying to finish this bike up. Hey, Travis, how you doing, man? Hey, I found you them green forks. You found some opaque green forks? Dude, really? Man, I'll give you a whole bike for those. I'm serious. I'll give you a Schwinn something or other. Okay, so we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this race very carefully. This is the one. This is the one I brought in from my parts, and this is the one that was on the bike. And I think I'm going to go with the one that I brought in. This one looks. Yeah, it's a little brindled. If you look right there, it's hard to say, but there's some action right there. I just cleaned it off, and it's had a hard life. And this appears to be about the same. If this one pounds on good, I'm going to use this one. This is from my parts stash. It looks much better. And when I was moving that around the other time, something felt odd. And I think it's because this is so worn. That's pretty bad. That's clean. I just cleaned that. It's pretty messed up. Anyway, so we got the crown on here. We took this crown off of a breeze, and now we're going to put my part back on here. Hopefully it'll go. It looks like it will. On this, you're tempted to pound on it, but don't. Get an adjustable wrench. You shouldn't have to pound on it too hard. Just get an adjustable wrench. I know this is probably not the way to do it. And you just tighten it up and boom, boom, boom. There you go. And you'll kind of hear it when it gets down there. That's pretty good. And then look at it. look very closely here and make sure you don't see air in between there. Like I see a little air right there. We're going to whack it. So right now I opened it, so it's not hitting the inside of the race, it's kind of hitting the outside. It's definitely not the way to do it. But it's on, and it feels pretty good. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so we got the race, we got the crown. We're doing good. Let's put some fresh grease in here. Oops, you guys are up there now. We'll put some fresh grease under here. But before we do that, we're pounding this top race out because we're switching it over to a different style because that's just how I roll. Sorry, folks. I don't care. What we're doing, we're switching it to this style. And yeah, this is a little bit blue because I heated it up to get it off of a wrecked bike. It's fine. The heat treating that Schwinn did back in the day, it's a little discolored. Let's see if we can kind of shine it up with some triple aught, quadruple aught stuff. I doubt it's going to work though. Yeah, I heated it up. It was on a wrecked girls varsity or girls suburban or something. And I got it for free. It was basically on the side of the road and it was all frozen and it had freeze damage all over it. So there was just a few little odds and ends that were decent. And on the fork was wrecked too, but I wanted this part. No, it's not coming back. I burned it up with a torch. But hey, no one's going to know. You aren't going to tell anyone. We're going to pound this one out and we're going to put this other one in that I want because, you know, it's me. It's all about me. Okay. So we're pounding this one out. We're taking this one out right now. Look at that. It didn't even fall across the floor and roll. Okay, so that's a decent part. We'll save that. All right, so we're going to pop this one back in. This is for a Continental or a Varsity. And that's just how I'm going to roll because I really like to use that other style. That's the way it goes. Okay, that's in. You heard that sound change, right? When you get races and stuff and you first start pounding and they're like tink, 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 bonk, bonk. But when you get it down and it meets where it's supposed to go, it makes a harder sound and it's usually time to stop. And you notice I used a bronze hammer. Okay, so let's put some fresh grease in here. We'll put this other bearing on top. That's ready to go. This bearing, this is a smaller bearing with a different style. This is the bottom bearing, and this would be the same if you weren't using that other Varsity style, which we're going to use this style, and it's a smaller bearing, so you can't put that big bearing in there. All right, so let's get this ready because it's going to be a one-shot deal. Yeah, it's going to be nice. There's going to be a crown on there, so we're going to put some fresh grease here in this little top headset piece. And we're going to put some fresh grease in the bottom. I did wipe that out earlier. Don't worry. You saw me. You can go back and see I did wipe this out. I promise. There wasn't a lot in there. Somebody was in here before. They took off the crown. Okay. So I don't know why they took off the crown. I just know it wasn't there. It was missing when I got the bike. And that, you know, when you see stuff like that, you're like, yeah, somebody's been in there. All right, so we got this. And we got this nice bearing that came out of the bottom or the top. It's the same one. Doesn't really matter. We'll put a dab on here too. Okay, this bearing only goes one way. You see the flat side and then there's a bottom side. The flat side goes up. I don't think you could actually put it in the wrong way, but some people do try. This is kind of a thing you could loose pack also, but we're not going to do that. All right, so we got this nice piece that has been heated up by me. We got this bearing that came off of it. We're going to shove this in and put this new piece on that I like. And then we're going to wipe all this crap off because somebody was a little enthusiastic with their grease. Okay, so that bearing's in there correctly. Oh, we don't have the bearing in there. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. Remember to put the top bearing in, which is smaller on this particular headset. Yes, this is a little damaged. We're okay. Yeah, me heating that part up to get it off that wrecked bike probably made the threads a little on the long. They're gonna work though. Okay, we got this. Now we'll wipe off all this extra grease and then we'll read some comments because people are actually watching this today. They're following up. Okay, wiped off that extra stuff. Okay, that feels pretty good. Okay, so we'll pop this back up here. There's a little notch. Now, the reason I like using these is because when you have a 5-speed or a 10-speed on there, it's hard to grab this underneath the 5-speed holder. Here, I got one right here. I'll show you. See, it's under there. You see? And you're trying to adjust your fork. And this is, you know, you're kind of like really barely able to even get your hand on there. Sometimes you can't, even with the washer. They give you about that much, you know, just barely. But this style, you can reach an extra 1/4 inch there. You can actually adjust that and tighten it down. That's another reason I like that style, adjustability. There's nothing wrong with this on a Schwinn Cruiser without the 5-speed paddle. You know, this is fine. It's a good Schwinn part. You know, I mean, it's you know, not a bunch of water is going to get in there. I just prefer this other style because, especially with the 5-speed or the 10-speed paddle, you can get your fingers under there and adjust it and tighten the nut, and it's just better overall. And if you're doing that, find a part that someone hasn't used a torch on. Okay. Okay, let's get that washer on there. Let's clean this washer up. This is a good one. Check the notch. How's the notch? The notch is great. It's there. I could run a file over this. I might if I have one here. Yeah, I don't see my file. I don't have a file out here. I'm not going to get one, but sometimes I just put this on a file and just kind of make sure it's nice and happy. Like we don't want to gall things, but it's in good shape. All right, so we're going to put this on. And now we're going to get our little nut, which is here. We'll put some grease on the inside of this too, just because. And it looks like we're going to be fine. Okay, we'll get the final tighten on this bolt when we get the bars in. And then we can adjust this cone, the adjuster, hold the bars and give it the whammy. But for now, we're just chucking it together, you know. All right, let's read some comments and then let's try to reseat this terrible tire. And my hands are completely greasy. All right, Nicolats. You win the bike in exchange. I will give Travis a bike if those are opaque green forks. It won't be a great bike. It'll be a runner. You probably choose from a couple. Probably not anything super fancy. I can't go back too far on my word, but you'll get a runner. You'll get a running Schwinn. Okay. For Nicolats. Faulkner, on my 3-speed racer, the head tube has a little gap near where the bearing goes. How tight should I make that head tube steerer? I used a large adjustable. It seems snug, but still a gap. Shouldn't be a gap. What's happening is, I know exactly what's happening is you're probably missing this. You're probably missing this washer with the, you're probably missing that. And what's happening is this is bottoming out here. I could probably do it on this one actually and show you, but there's a little lip on here. Schwinn puts a little lip on the inside of that. And if you, on some bikes, they're kind of tight. And if you don't have this spacer in there, it bottoms out. Like if I take this off, this spacer, I can probably make this bottom out and not do anything to cinch it down. Yep, see there, look at that. It's bottomed right now, and this is still loose. So you got to put that washer in. Or there's either a non-Schwinn race down in here, or something's going on. Get a couple of these washers, or two or one, and make sure. Now, in the old days, you know, I've been so desperate, I've actually turned this on a lathe and took that lip off, or used a non-Schwinn that's the right thread that goes right through. You can do it that way too. I think this lip is what's messing you up, and you don't have a washer. All right, let's see what he's talking about. Okay. Travis Conister. Hey, I think it's the color. What was the color of the green again? I'm looking at it while on. It's opaque green. It's a one-off color. It's only a few years. And oh, hey, Fred. Oh, let's see. I'm 26 minutes in, Fred. We just couldn't leave it alone. We're going to change the chain. We already put the crown on here. And we are switching it, and we switched it over to my favorite style headset. You know, the kind you can actually get your hand under here and adjust. Let's get you in here. And somebody's got a fork for me, which is amazing. So yeah, we're putting this style on, Fred. You know I love these. We're putting that varsity style on because you can get your hand in there. Isn't that great? All right, I got to keep working. One more comment. Nico Lots, I will check for that washer. Thank you. Yeah, I think that washer's gone. What is that? A Schwinn 3-speed racer? Yeah, there shouldn't be any 5-speed in the way or anything. What you have is just, you've got this. You've got just this kind and the bearing, and then this style. And I'm pretty sure what's happening is the washer is missing in between here, and you're catching it on that little extra lip. Or it's the wrong fork. It's too long. It's off a girl's bike, and you have it on a boy's bike. Girls' bikes sometimes have a longer fork, even though it's the same size, because the frame is a little weaker. They made the fork longer. Could be the wrong fork. If the fork looks like it came with the bike, you're probably missing that little silly washer. Hey, it happens. You know, especially like if you took everything off a 10-speed, if you took this paddle off of a 10-speed, you're definitely going to hit into that, because that paddle is another 1/8 inch, you know. Anyway, let's keep going here. I need to put this back on. Okay. So where were we? Yeah, I took this all apart to show somebody. Fred, I took this apart just to show somebody. Okay, so this is just a loosey-goosey until we get the bars back in and tighten it. In fact, let's do that. Let's put the bars back in and tighten it, because then I'll forget, and I'll be riding down the trail, and you know, it'll be let's see, these are dated 78. Interesting. Somebody's definitely been in here. Those are 78 bars. Somebody has definitely been messing around with this. You know, heaven forbid modify the whole bike with the wrong parts, but somebody's been in here before. Okay. If you're just tuning in, I'm just trying to get this one ready to go to Bent Creek tomorrow. And this is the one I'm going to use. I'm determined to use this bike. And we're just chucking this in now. I'm going to hold it and give it a final tighten on the bearing adjustment. Feels much better than it did earlier, just because we have fresh grease in there, a better race pounded on. The fork, the crown doesn't really matter, but it's nice to have on there. So we have a fresher race here, fresh grease, and this top race was changed for the new style, and it has fresh grease and a better bearing. So it feels better already. So what we're going to do is back the adjuster off a little bit. See, I can get my hand in here now. Isn't that nice? That other style is very difficult. All right. So now I can hold the bars and tighten this up. Not too much right now. That's a little tight. That's a little tight. We got to back it off a little. Take your time. You're going to be out riding this. That feels good. That feels good. Okay, let's pop these brakes back on. The back one anyway. Okay, so on this back brake I showed you, I crunched it by hand, but now we can't do that. We're going to crunch it back here or use my tool, actually. So we're not changing anything. We're just putting the cable back on. Okay, so we crunch the brake, make sure this ferrule is in, make sure that ferrule is in. Then you've got the clearance to pull that out. See the clearance there? Now we can put it back in the brake. And pull it hard. There we go. And now that ferrule's in, that ferrule's in, that ferrule's in. This is in here, and we'll remove our tool. Okay. Okay, back brake. We're not worried about the front brake right now because we got to go. Oh, wow, this front wheel is really tight too. Man, no wonder something was kind of funky. Man. Yeah, remember the other day I was seeing like, oh, man, this is way too tight. Okay, we got to back this off. And maybe we'll even check the bearings because like I say, someone's been in here and it wasn't me. Well, I've done some things, but someone's been in here. So we're going to back this off a little bit. Ooh, wow, that is crunchy. It's dry and crunchy. Well, we'll get to that in a second. One thing for sure, though, before we do anything else, we have to reseat this tire. It's ridiculous. Yeah, there's a huge spot on that. I don't even know if that's going to come out, actually. But hey, we got to give it a shot. Let's let the air out, and I'll go out to the porch and spray it with some silicone. And then we'll bring it back in here and pump the living daylights out of it. I did bring a new tube, just in case. Sometimes when you do this, the bike's been sitting a long time. And sometimes when you try to reseat something, you got to bring the tire up to like 85 pounds or something until it pops, and sometimes the tube pops instead of the tire. So we do have a spare tube ready to go. Just things you learn about as you age, as your bikes age. Like this tube, I think the last time I rode this bike was like 4 or 5 years, maybe 3 years ago. So I'm checking the liner right now too. I'm kind of looking in there and make sure the liner's okay. Usually the liner breaks near the stem. If it's bad, it'll break near the stem hole because that's the weakest spot. And it looks okay. You can't really see. Okay, so we're going to spray this liberally. I was going to use Armor All. That's what I like to use. But Armor All is really expensive. And I'm going to try some of this spray silicone. A buddy of mine a few live feeds ago recommended it. And yeah, this is kind of rusty on here too. We're going to spray spray silicone in here. I'm going to go outside and do it though, because I don't want my dogs getting cancer. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. We'll give them a break. We'll spray this out here, and then we're going to try to pump it up, and then I'll check some comments. Oh man, people are really on here today, too. Okay, that's probably way too much. All right, let's see if this seats. Get you guys down here. Man, that's probably way too much. The cool stuff about this is it evaporates pretty quickly, and it doesn't destroy rubber. It doesn't, like if you use WD-40, you're kind of ruining your tire. And Armor All is not great, but I like to use it. If it's like a newer tire, I like to put it on there and give it a pop. It's okay, Lovey. Yeah, my dog got scared. The scaredy pants one. He didn't like that sound. Look, here comes Scout. He's coming. He's like, oh, what was that sound? They're so different. One dog's out of here, and one dog's like, oh, man, what's going on over there? That's a sound I don't know. All right, yeah, one dog decided to go. All right, we didn't hear any popping, and I can see it did not seat up here. So I didn't hear any. So we're going to keep going. We're going to let some air out. And we're going to 100 pounds in there, boom. And they're really seat. Okay, so yeah, I can see it's down there. All right, hopefully I can seat this. This tire's quite a few years old, and it's been in the basement in one spot for a long time. And we're just trying to save what we got. The tube looks pretty good. The rim liner looks good. The rim is fair. So now I'm holding it off the ground, literally. So the tire will kind of go where it needs to go. So it's not having its own flat spot on the ground. And then we'll bounce it too in a minute. Let's give it a little bounce. I can see a spot right here. I think this is the low spot right now. So let's really pump it up. And we'll put this spot to the top and look at it. I didn't hear any popping yet. Sometimes it'll like pink, a little bit of Armor All will come flying out on you. Okay, there is 50 pounds. Man, let's keep going. Hey, Fred, you might have to come over here with your super pump. Okay, that I think it popped out. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see any incredibly low spots anymore. The old spray silicone. Huh. We'll give it a spin in a second. Maybe a little here. Yeah, it's not bad. Let's give it a spin and see what's going on. There's a little bit. It is better. Let's see where that is. I think it's right here. Yeah, it's such a crappy tire. I don't think we're going to get that out. Maybe after I ride it around a little bit. Yeah, it is better. And we're just, sometimes when you let things sit that long, it's toast. Let's read some comments. We'll throw some fresh grease in here, throw this all back together, and then we're going to change the freewheel protector because I have it, and that really bugs me when your derailleur hits your spokes and you have to walk home for miles because you ruined your back rim. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, I will check the washer. Yeah, I hope that's it. Travis, what's the green fork on a Schwinn Traveler? Man, I'm looking, but this green was a little darker, and the one you're looking for looks a light green highlighter. Yeah, it's such a weird color, Travis. Man, if you find one, I'll just hook you up with a decent boys 3-speed Schwinn. If you actually find the right fork, people are just hold on to that opaque stuff. Opaque orange, opaque blue, opaque green, and then they had cool lemon, which was kind of an opaque color. People, not so much the lemon ones, but anything that was an opaque color, people are just gaga nuts all over it. Sorry, it was not. Sorry on the mistake. No problem, Travis. You tried. A guy emailed me the other day that watched one of the shows, and he said, "I've got it. I've got one," and it turned out to be a whole bike that was teal green, made in Japan. So the threads would have been different. It was a different threading, and it was teal green. It was close, but man, it's got to be perfect. Okay, Nicolats. Reminder to everyone to ride them, don't hide them. Yeah, man. Get out and ride those Schwinns. They're bulletproof. Yeah, if you saw the video of me testing the last one, I've done quite a few tests. Man, people are always just like, what is he doing on this vintage Schwinn? And they've got all this spandex on, and and I'm just bombing around, having just as much fun as they are. Probably better because of the exercise. Ride them, don't hide them. Yeah, Nicolats, you got it going on. Nicolats, a little Dawn's dish soap for those tires to be seated. Is that the old trick? Armor All, silicone spray. I've used Dawn. I think the tire just sat too long. What I'm going to do is I'll get it all back together, and I'll go ride it at Bent Creek, and then I'll try to reseat it. We'll put some life back into those tires a little bit, wake them up. Yeah, Dawn is safer for the dogs. I could have probably used that right in here. Travis, I found the blue one. It's the green one I'm having problems with. Yeah, the opaque blue is people ordered. In the 70s, people were kind of odd. Schwinn offered some really amazing colors, but people kind of gravitated towards the neutral or more normal, like baby blue, opaque blue. Like finding a burgundy breeze. I have one. I have only seen a couple. I have one. I have a really nice burgundy breeze from 67. And people just didn't order the purple bike. They were just like, no, that's too flashy. Whatever. So yeah, opaque green's rare. All right, let's keep going. Let's put some grease in this. This is ridiculously dry. Really, I'm just not excited about how this feels. We might just pull a fast one, shove some new grease in there with the old stuff and call it a day. We might actually clean the cones. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there's grease in there. I think we're just going to do a no-no and shove some. We're not going to clean anything bad. We're just going to shove. You know what? We got to clean the cones out. We got to clean the hub out. Oh, God. I'm such a leprechaun. I don't know when to stop. This bike, any other normal person would have already drove this bike and had fun with it. But no, we got to have a freewheel protector. We got to have a better headset. We got to have the crown on there. That crown wasn't important. All right, let's see here. It looks okay. Yeah, you should probably spray some cleaner in here when you do this, but I don't want the dogs coughing and hiccuping, and it's bad enough I'm doing this in the living room. Yeah, that was old, nasty grease, that's for sure. All right, that looks good. Let's look at the cones. Bearing looks decent. It's a little sharp. Let's look at these cones real quick. This is a style I don't like. And this was, when this first came out, the bicycle manufacturers were just like the people that made, I think it's a Union. I think that hub is, if I clean it off, it probably should say Union on it. It's not a Schwinn hub, obviously. This is all non-Schwinn wheels on this one. But what they did was they used this like serrated part here. You see this part here and over here. So when you get the hubs close, when you get the cones close to adjustment, it was supposed to be this big. I even have some magazines from the 60s when these came out. The new adjust it once front hub from Union, and no more lock, no more extra lock bolts, nuts on there. Actually, I've even had to put some locks on this style because it's just so worn. Well, after it gets adjusted a few times, it just rubs those off and it doesn't hold anymore. So great idea for the guy in the bike shop for the first or second time it ever got adjusted. But later on in life, 40 years later, when you got some nut working on it and realizes that system doesn't work anymore because those little ridges are gone. They're still there. They look like they would do something. But from my experience, a lot of the times it just spins past it and it catches and it just kind of rethreads it. There is a way to like take this out in the vise and use the soft jaws and repunch it. You can repunch it with a center punch so it gets tight, but just do the best you can and use the nuts on the wheel to keep it together. We're not going to Mars with this thing. We're just, like I say, any normal person would have already been riding this bike. All right, so I'm going to clean these off and put fresh grease in here, and we'll chuck it back together. Hope everyone's having a good day. I'm having a pretty good week here. Wifey went down to Florida to deliver a whole bunch of artwork to a gallery. And I was able to fix a huge vacuum leak on my work truck that used to be Fred's, actually, and dial it in. And I rebuilt the engine. And it was just this crazy vacuum leak on this terrible carburetor I had. So I took it all apart. We're going to put these bearings in now. And put a new gasket on it and rebuilt the Autolite 2-barrel carburetor that really shouldn't be on there. It's supposed to be a 1-barrel truck. Put that on there. And, as I've slowly been driving it around, I think the rings have been seating in better. And it's just starting to run really good now. Uh-oh. Hang on, folks. Hello? Hi. Okay, I'm doing a live feed right now. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, I love you too. Have a good time. Okay. Speak of the devil, man. Her ears must have been burning. So yeah, she went down there, and I got some blocks of time to actually fix the truck. And today, I drove it around a little bit and adjusted the timing and went through it and really dialed it in. And it's just running better and better. I think the rings are. I didn't bore the engine. It's just a standard bore 6-cylinder, and I just put all new parts in it and kind of cleaned up the cylinders with a cylinder hone. And I measured everything, and it's a little bit out of tolerance, but it doesn't smoke. It doesn't make noise. It's a 300 cubic inch 6-cylinder, which will run forever. And so today I replaced the door seals for the windows. And man, my hands are really grubby now. I watched this video where a guy was like, "Yeah, you just get in here and you peel out the old one, and it shows them like just peeling it out. It's working on like a 91 Bronco or something. And so I bought the seals. They were cheap, little felt runs that go in the doors. And, they were cheap enough, and they came in decent quality from some rubber company. So I go to just, do what they're doing in the video, and it's just bits of plastic falling out of there. There's just broken pieces of rubber from 40 years ago, and I had to take a putty knife and a hammer, and let's basically hammer it all out of the inside of the door. There's no, the video, he's just like, oh yeah, just peel this off. And just like, dude, you jerk. But, in his defense, the vehicle was much newer by 6 years or something. Well, 1191 Bronco. Yeah, I think it was an 89. It looked like the one OJ used to drive or something. Anyway, okay, so we re-grease this. It's pretty good. Let's just chuck it on. Now, these are loose, and, I'll have to adjust this just right and get the wheel nice and tight when this is in, and make sure and maybe reach in with a cone wrench. Or I could go find another retaining nut and double nut each one of these, or I could take this back off, take the axle out to the shop, and peen it around where those adjusters are. So yeah, we're kind of messed up on that. So let's put the fender on. Man, wifey's ears must have been burning. She must have heard me. All right. Now's a great time. See all that smuts? You can't clean that when it's on the bike, but now is a really good time to clean that off, because you can get in with your hand, put some soap or something, or maybe a little bit of WD, but a white pinstripe. Okay, so we were able to clean that pretty good, and that's not too bad. I've seen worse. It's a little bent. We could pop it down a little. I think I'm just going to let it be. Yeah, we're just going to let that be. All right, let's pop this on. Use the brake to hold it, and then we'll put the wheel in. Yeah, anybody with a normal brain would have been, riding this. They wouldn't be worrying about derailleur protectors, and they wouldn't be worried about stuff. I guess I just want it to be right, Oh, and they usually have a little blue lock thing. It's always toast, unless you're going to go buy some new ones. Just deal with what you got. I mean, it doesn't do much now. It's from 1968. It should be a little nylock in there. They're always toast. Just deal with life. Keep an eye on your bike. Sometimes you can find some ones, like you'll go through a big pile of brakes and you'll see ones that haven't been used so many times. It's kind of one of those things, unless you're going to use a snap lock washer out of there, which I don't recommend. Just keep an eye on it. You could go buy some. You could probably buy like 50 of them for $10 or something. I'm sure they're available. It's just one of those things no one ever replaces, So we're going to leave the front cable off because we want to put the wheel in first. And like I said, I should probably get some nuts that retain these because they're loose. These are all over the place. It was a great idea until it wasn't. Look at Scout coming over here. He wants to see what's going on. Check him out. Look at him. He wants to see what's going on. Well, what's going on is Daddy is a fanatic. I lost a nut for the front wheel. Oh, there's one. I can't find the nut. Oh, do you want a treat? Is that what you want? Come here, buddy. Okay, who wants to work on bikes? Come here. Lovey. Come here, buddy. Come here. Who likes to work on bikes? Sit down if you like to work on bikes. Yay! Okay, now go do dog blanket, lick your whatever things. I got stuff to do. Okay, so let's get this bolt on. I don't know where this other bolt is. Kind of a bummer. Yeah, we definitely got to find that. Look at Scout checking things out. He wants to know what's going on. No, that's not edible. That's not edible. Dude. A dog that wants to eat your fasteners. That's not edible. I know. It's a problem. And this one does not have wheel locks. This is not a frame that has the special conical wheel locks that Schwinn makes. So we're not looking for those. We're not bummed out that they're not there. Okay, so we're gonna definitely check that out. Oh, you guys couldn't see nothing. We're definitely gonna check that out once we get the bolt off the sides. And we're gonna make sure that that is nice. I've lost the nut. Guys, where's the nut? Well, we will find it eventually. Maybe I'll have to rewind and look what I did with it. I put it in my pocket. Well, let's move on. That's not a major problem right now. Okay, so we've lost one of the fasteners for the front wheel. Dang it. Yes, don't do what I do. Don't lose your nuts. Okay. You know, we're just going to go on to the back wheel now. All right. So this is annoying. There's no plastic protector here. And it's not a Schwinn wheel, or we put a steel one. So let's quickly take it off. I think it's a 15. Man, I wish I could find that bolt. Oh well. Let's take this off. And we're going to put a freewheel protector on it. But to do that, we have to remove the freewheel. Hey, buddy, you going to help out? Why don't you find that nut? I lost it. It's for the front wheel. Thanks. He's going to look for it right now. Okay, so we got to buy the brakes. They weren't set that tight, fortunately. Get it off of here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use a freewheel removal tool to get this off. And sometimes you got to take the whole wheel apart, but I think I can snake a freewheel tool in there. And let's not lose this, okay? Let's put it that over there. And I've got every freewheel tool in the world here. I'm sure I can find one that's going to work. Let's put this one in. Yeah, that's the one. So I like to put the nut back on. And that would be just to hold the freewheel tool when you go and put it in your vise. But we are not going to use a vise today. We're going to use a very large crescent wrench on the floor and impact it with my body. You ready? Can you guys see that? Okay. Oh, it's the wrong tool. Darn. Wow, that just spun around in there like Bob's your uncle. That's the wrong tool. Interesting. That's the wrong tool. Let's try this one. Very interesting. Maybe it's that one. Huh. Interesting. I thought for sure it was a larger Shimano style. Let's try this one. Maybe we won't be changing the, let's try that one. Oh, that one needs, the whole axle needs to be taken out for that one. Interesting. Wow. Let's try that again. Just spun. It's crazy. I think I got it. It's just being stubborn. Yeah. I don't know why that seems so weird. Yeah, that's not the right tool. Something's going on, folks. It's a Shimano wheel. It says Shimano on it. I might have to take the whole axle out and use the right. I think there's a smaller Shimano tool. I think that's what's going on. I think what's happening is, yeah, I think it's actually this one. It's this smaller. It's very hard to see, but it is a different tool. They don't quite line up. And I think I have to use this one. And to use this one, I think I have to take the axle out. Dang it. That sucks. Okay, well, that's what we do. We don't play around here. We're going to take the axle out. I was hoping that it could just snake a freewheel tool in there and get happy. But no. Well, good time to grease the axle, right? Good time to clean everything and grease it, right? Yeah, sure, whatever. I really wanted to just take that freewheel off, but it wasn't in the cards. If we were smart, we'd get a little box, put these parts in. That's just a little lock washer. I'm doing all right. I don't know where that front axle bolt is. None. Okay, so, oh boy. All right. I didn't want to do it this way. I'm going to take the whole axle out, set that to the side, and hopefully, I believe this will go in now. They don't give you much on that one. Yeah, if I didn't ruin it already. Let's see. Is that the one? That's not it. That's not it. That might be it. Man, it's really not cooperating today. Is it this one? No. Very strange. I didn't think my Shimano tools were that worn. Let's count the splines in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3. Hang on a sec. Scout, that's not edible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so this freewheel is damaged or something's going on because I have the right tools, but they're not taking it off. Interesting. Let's try this one. Yeah, I might have to and just ruins freewheel actually. Man, I almost had it. Nope. Dang. Wonder what the deal is. Well, that's a bummer. That one goes in deeper. Let's try that one. Hey, guys, I just ruined this back wheel. Oh, I got it. Ha ha! Woo! Yeah, I did not ruin the back wheel, but I would have ruined it if I can't get this freewheel off and make the bearings right again, because I took the axle out. We got it. It's just really cheap, not very well made freewheel. If the Shimano tool doesn't fit it very well, then what are you doing? But it's in decent shape. It's just, I guess they didn't make the ridges very good. Okay, so what we have here, now we can see if that plastic ring fits on there. I'm kind of going for this one, just because, yeah, I think we're just going to shove this one on and get happy. It will offer some protection. I mean, it'd be better. The bigger one would be better, but this will be some protection. Let's see what this bigger one looks like. Yes, this bigger one is pretty mangled. And I think that would, like I was saying earlier, I think that would kick out the, it's going to kick out the freewheel and we wouldn't be able to get first gear. Yeah, we're going to use this crappy small one. So let's put this bearing back in. The grease looks pretty good in this. Okay, those bearings are in. Yeah, the grease looks pretty good in this. I'm just going to chuck it back together. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yep. All right, here's a cone. All right. So we had to do all that to get the freewheel off. I didn't really have to take the axle out, but I was concerned that the cheap freewheel tool or the cheap freewheel I was trying to get off was not going in all the way because of the axle cones and the retaining nuts. So let's get this back together, and then we'll take a little break and find out where that front nut for the wheel went, because no one's test riding anything until I find that. Maybe I'll have to wait till the live feed's over and rewind it and see what I did with that, with the front wheel nut. Yeah. Okay, we're almost there. All right, good. Let's put this on, and then this goes on, and we'll tighten this cone up, and then we'll put the freewheel plastic protector on, and then we'll thread the freewheel on. I hate to put this freewheel back on if we had such a problem putting it off, taking it off, but this is the one I got, and we're just going to have to deal with life. Okay, now's a great time to make sure that this side, we didn't change this side, but we're going to make sure that that's really tight before we adjust the cones on the other side, because you can't get in there once the freewheel's on, you know? All right, so let's make sure. We're going to hold this cone back here. You guys there? Okay. And we're going to really put the whammy on that just to make sure, because you can't get to this with the freewheel on. And it's tight. That's good. Okay, let's adjust this other cone and put the freewheel on. I know this is taking a long time, but sometimes you just got to deal with life, you know? Seems pretty good. Okay, that seems pretty good. Feels all right. All right. All that to get this plastic spacer on to protect the freewheel. Oh my God. Really? That's a lot of work. Okay, we're going to clean these threads pretty good here. And we're going to put a dab of grease on the threads, so the guy can get the freewheel off next time, whoever that unlucky person may be. That's a good freewheel. It's just they made that part a little cheap. They made this part where the tool goes in. They made that part. It's not quite, that's not quite Shimano quality. That should fit in a lot better than that. And it is not a Shimano, it is a Sunrace. Well, Mr. CEO from Sunrace, you got to do better, okay? So, you know, come back off your vacation and make it right. Okay, we're going to put this on now. Finally. Man, let's clean it up a little bit. Okay, hopefully this works. It's not offering a lot of protection, but it should do something. Good, and it looks like there's room to get first gear. I was worried about that because with this style, this little aluminum lip, it only works on a few different sizes of freewheels that have the indent or the seal kind of. Anyway, sometimes you'll use one of those on a Japanese rim and you won't be able to get first gear. The chain won't go in there because it's too tight. So if you do use a plastic derailleur cover, or you use a metal one that has the metal insert or a metal one, check it out. Sometimes you don't get first gear. The chain won't go over enough to get first gear, but this looks like it's going to be okay. Okay, so if I had a chain whip, I'd pre-tighten this, but the first time you ride the bike, you'll feel the cranks move a little bit and you won't move. And you'll be like, oh, freewheel seated in. Oh, good. Okay, so I think we're golden on that. Yeah, tire's been sitting a long time. All right, let's put this on. I'm tired of messing around. And maybe we didn't lose the bolts this time. Yeah, we got them right here. There's two of them. All right. Let's see if this freewheel protector is going to be nice. It would be nice. Looks like we're in fifth. That's good. Okay. Pass the brakes. Pass the brakes. There we go. Okay. There's this washer here. It appears I'm missing another washer on the other side. Oh, you guys can't see nothing. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Still looking for that camera assistant. It looks like I'm missing there's a little washer on this side. Unless I lost that too. I don't think that was on there. We're going to have to fix that too. Yeah, we got to fix that. Okay. Oh, is that it? No. Man, I got to find stuff here, guys. I got to find that front nut for the... Oh, okay, I did not. I got the back. We're okay. Let's put this back one on, and then we'll change the chain out. I wonder what I did with that bolt. I bet you Scout took it. Scout, find that bolt. Scout, find that nut for the front wheel. What are you doing? Dogs. I should get some cats. Okay. All right. Those cats with their opposable thumbs. Yeah. Okay. I knew that was not like me to lose that washer or not have it. That's something you really need on 5s and 10 speeds. Okay, we got a derailleur protector. And maybe it's not even going to work because it's too small. Let's see if it's even all that work is for naught. It may be too small. Oh, dear. It's kind of small. Yeah, it's really close to not working. Yeah, this one pops on That's close to not working. Wow, what a bummer. Man, I'm just batting 1,000 today, guys. Let's read some comments and see what everybody. Should I follow through and try to put this on, or maybe put this really crappy one on? Which one's really bent? Okay, let's see what people. Okay. Let's see. I'm way behind in the comments. Let's see here. Travis, I'm not going to give up, man. I'll keep on looking on Craigslist and on Marketplace and offer up and find out for it because I want a free bike from you. Man, you know what? That's good for anybody, but you're first. You're first in line. So, and maybe I'll get 2 forks. Yeah, good luck. Hey, if you find one, man, I will hook you up. Travis, it's beautiful outside today. I just got back riding on my 2 Schwinns I got yesterday. Oh, you got those bikes? Cool. You bought them, huh? Good. Temperature here is about 79. Perfect weather. It's nice today. It's absolutely gorgeous today. I have no complaints. You know, we just stained our deck and replaced a few boards. Actually, wifey replaced the boards. She replaced like 10 boards on this deck, and then I took over. The pressure washing and staining was ridiculous, but yeah, it's nice out today, man. There's a big field over there. There's somebody with a tractor over here doing some tractor things. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah. Bears and the deer come rolling through here. Yeah, it's really nice. I'll show you my work truck. Here's your truck, Fred. It's got a new engine in it now, Fred, because you messed it up. Yeah, it was hard changing those seals on that thing. It was ridiculous. Anyway, let's get back to work. It's nice out today. Oh yeah, Travis, you got it going on. You know the days like today. This is bike weather in North Carolina. Early summer? No. Now it's bike time. Okay, let's see here. Does your wife enjoy riding old Schwinn bikes? No, she's into them. Yeah, she's she's got her special bikes down there. She's got a few. Does not as much as me, but she's into it. We go to Bent Creek together. Yeah. She's got an opaque blue Suburban, and I have an opaque blue Continental that about the same years. Really nice bikes. Let's see. Nicolats. Wow, is that cassette frozen or it should be a freewheel? That freewheel, it's just a poorly made freewheel. It's on a Shimano wheel, and I have you saw all these tools I have. I thought it was a different style of Shimano, but no, it was this bigger Shimano style. It's just not made very well. It just barely came off. So I'm going to leave that plastic cover on until I find a really better one. It is protecting some of the spokes. It's not what I really wanted. I was thinking about taking it back apart and putting this on, but these always snap off. You're riding and it just, especially this is an older yellow one. You're riding and these pop off, and you got to end up smacking it off on the trail and putting in your backpack. And this one's too damaged to use, so I'm just going to leave that one on there. It'll do something. Let's see. I'm confused. Nicolats, or maybe I'm confused. The newer style cassettes, you need a chain whip. No, you don't need a chain whip on these. The newer styles have a locking. These do fit it. It goes in there in the freewheel and locks it, and then you undo that middle ring and the thing slides off. So the newer style just slides on. The hub actually the actual hub on the bike is bigger and kind of looks like this, and the gears slide on, and then there's a little nut that kind of ting, 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 ting. Anyway, sometimes they're left-hand thread too. Let's see. The very least you can grease the outer bearings under the. Yeah, I shoved some grease in there. What the hell? I got it. Yeah, that's right, man. You got to follow through. You know it, Nicolats. Try a socket wrench. I got it. I got it off. Yeah, I got it. I wasn't giving up, man. Nicolats. Freewheel versus cassette. I forgot. Did take apart my 5-speed freewheel on an RBC10, and the bearings are loose inside the freewheel. That was fun. Yeah. Sometimes you got to take the axle out to get the clearance needed to get this in far enough, and sometimes the only tool that fits it, like some of the Schwinns. Here's one for Schwinn. The only tool that fits some of the Schwinns, the Atom, the French ones, that won't go over anything. You got to take the axle out. That doesn't clear over anything. These are made to clear. Okay, I got to get back to work here. Travis, man, you're lucky you live out in nature while I live near a highway where it's not so peaceful. We're lucky. There's 2 old ladies that own, this is the last 2 fields in Weaverville that hasn't been developed. And their grandfather gave them that land, and they are set on keeping it hay fields. They rent it out to a farmer. And until they pass away, no one's going to develop that. They come down here and they get out of their truck, and their husbands walk around and they just look at the fields, and they have good memories of their grandpa. He used to have a barn there, and they just rent it out. There's a hay farmer that comes and does annoying hay farmer things, and he's kind of rude, but he only comes like 3 times a year, and drives his tractor around, makes the hay bundles. And yeah, we're pretty lucky. This is the last area. Downtown Weaverville is 0.7 of a mile from here. The Well-Bred Bakery, I know exactly, is 0.7 of a mile from our house. Yeah, Fred, there's Big Red. I fixed it up today. I put some door seals in it and kind of dialed it in. The rings are seating in, and it's running pretty good. With the 2-barrel conversion, I can't use the kick down. There's no way I can develop enough linkages for the kick down to work for the tranny, but it's got plenty of power. I was just driving around today doing some errands, and it's got plenty of oomph. Let's get back to work, man. Come on, let's do it. We're going to leave this. This is doing something. I'm not super happy with it, but it's on here. We're going to leave it. Now we're going to change the chain out because I can't stand this chain. I've oiled it. I put some tri-flow on it. I undid some links. I'm just not liking this chain. And I went to Walmart. Oh my God. And I got a chain. And I don't know what they spray on these new chains, but man, it's some gnarly forever chemicals. Woo! Woo! Wow, it's better than coffee. Okay, so let's take this chain off, and hopefully they gave me enough links. Let's get you over here. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is just kind of a follow-up, live feed on this because I do want to use this. And tomorrow is another day. Wifey's in Florida, and I'll do some work. I'm cleaning up, and I'll do some more work on the truck. It doesn't need some body work. Anyway, tomorrow we are taking this to Bend Creek. Yeah, of course, I'll have to find the front wheel nut wherever that went. All right, so we don't care about putting the chain tool in the convenient way. This chain is coming off, so goodbye. In fact, we just pressed the link right out. So guess what? We're not putting that link back in. Yeah, don't do it like that. Leave the link in. So, but we're changing the whole chain. All right, so I'm just going to pull this out of here. Try not to scratch up the scratched up frame. And try not to drop it on your bike rug. All right, so hopefully Walmart gave me enough links. We're going to measure it. If I have to take a few out of this and put it on the new chain, I will. I'd rather not. This chain looks fine, but I think it's stretched. I don't have the tool that measures it. It looks fine, but there is a few links right around this rusty area that are questionable, and I had to free them up. There was a rusty area, and yeah, I think it's stretched. I can't see where exactly it's messed up, but it just feels a little loose, and I don't have the tool that measures it. And this is just an unknown chain. So, and it wasn't doing really good things. So we're going to put a new chain on that smells great. But first, we're going to measure what's going on. We're just going to hold this one up to that one and kind of get a rough measurement of what's going on. See if they gave me enough. Oh, just enough. You suckers. Man. Might even be a little shy. Wow, they've really skimped on me. I got to put this down and really measure it. You guys there? Okay. Man, they skimped. I could count them, but we don't have time for all that. You guys there? Okay. Yeah, it is stretched. I can see it's stretched. Man, suckers. They gave me just enough. Man. Well, now that it has dog hair all over it. Now that the chain is completely covered with dog hair, it's just enough. Wow, they really skimped on that. Anyway, I can tell it's stretched. This one actually, the links don't even line up when it gets towards the end. So yeah, it's stretched. And let's pop it on and see how it feels. Okay. Frederick P. just noticed 2.11 subscribers. Yeah, people like the live feed. Because I suck at editing so bad. I mean, my GoPro editing skills are really lame, but they like the live feeds, and we're taking this tomorrow. It won't be a live feed. I don't have that technology. I don't have that kind of phone I can bring with me, but I will take the GoPro and maybe put it on time lapse. You guys make the call. You want a time lapse video, or you want me yakking about how great my bike skills are? Now that this is completely covered with dog fur. Thanks, Scout. Thanks a lot, buddy. Yes, you're a good boy. Okay, we're gonna put it on, and hopefully, I've had chains that I bought at Walmart and bike stops. Like, you just never know nowadays. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy something new, and you think it's gonna be good. I bought some tubes. I bought like 10 26 by 1 3/8 tubes online from a reputable company. And oh, we gotta put this back in fifth. There we go. And they had this little seam where they were, welded together, rubber welded, whatever. They had this little weird seam, like 2 inches from the valve stem, where they molded the tube together. And every one of those blew out, like when I was trying to seat a tire. And I tried to get my money back, and there was like no return. And I bought 10 tubes. They were all bad. They all blew apart at that seam. And regardless, they did not get a good review. Yeah, let's just say they had a bad day in the review department. I mean, I'll let some things go. I know how it is, the quality just isn't there anymore on some things, but 10 tubes, I think like 8 of them blew up, Okay, so who's that? I'm glad I caught that. The little ring, this tiny little ring fell out of this new chain. Gee, man, see what I'm talking about? It wouldn't happen with that old chain. The little middle part of the chain just fell out, and I noticed it over there. Okay, whatever. If this is a good chain. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take it off the front, so we have room. We're going to take it off this front gear, so there's room to get on here. And I did a no-no. I put the chain tool on the wrong side, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. Yeah, 2.11, 2,000 subscribers. I must be doing something right. It's definitely not my, charming personality. People must just want to know about old bikes, and that's fine. That's what I do. Most of this channel is about, there's a couple old cars out west I work on a little bit at my mom's and dad's house. I'd say 70% of this channel is me working on Schwinns. So that's what's happening. Nicolas, would you say it's a good thing to see that Schwinn red primer under the paint chips, meaning it could be, it's always red under there. It's always a good thing. I don't know about a good thing to see it. I mean, in the 70s especially, they used that red primer. There's a guy that I just gave a bike to, his channel, 70s vintage Schwinn, and man, he's got it going on. I just gave him this this bike that he could hook up, and he's gonna put it back to original. But he was saying that in the 70s especially, they used the red primer under there, and you can see it on this bike. You can see the red primer from somebody locking it up with a chain. That's red oxide primer. That's what the Navy used. That's what they use on bridges. Probably got a high lead content. Today's paint, you use it out of the can, and there's no good stuff in it. I hate to say it, but back in the day, Henry Ford would have people brush paint Model Ts black, and they turned out beautiful. And you know why? Because the paint was so dang heavy with all that lead. You could have been Ray Charles painting that thing, and it would have looked, that lead just sat on there and made things right. So yeah, this is probably some red oxide primer. I'm sure, OSHA and the EPA weren't really. Ignis Schwinn and the Schwinn factory, man, they had their own ways, and you didn't mess with them. They were like mobsters. Here, let's put this thing in. Yeah, they had their own ways, man. Let's get this going here. What am I doing? See, I messed myself up. I put the pin on the other side. I would like to just put the pin in this way, but no. We put it on the other side, and now it's being hard to deal with. There's a chain tool that's just like a big pair of pliers, and I think it was invented in England. It's like this big pair of pliers, and you just put it on there, and wham, it's in, and they're very expensive and hard to find. So I'm kind of just backing this in and backing it out and pushing it in. I'm just taking my time. I don't want anything to happen to this cheap chain. I'm just kind of working it in slow. I don't want to mess up any links. Check it out. It needs a little more. A little more. Okay, I'm feeling that. That feels about even. We might even count it back a little the other way. Yeah, feels right. Now, this is tight now. This link is not even moving. See? It's just flat across my thumb. So we're just going to bend it back and forth like this a few times. And now it's moving. See? That would have happened on the bike the first time you rode it anyway. But for checking it purposes, you want to make sure that's loose because you're going to spin it around and look at it. Okay. So I don't think we changed anything, except this freewheel might not be all the way down yet. Let's see if we can kind of seat this freewheel a little. Yeah, we just did. Okay. What are you doing? All right, so we didn't really change anything except that goofy plastic protector is doing something. Not much. I'm not satisfied with the width of it, with the diameter of it. It should be. It's going to help a little bit. It's not the truest thing either. We'll find the right one. I think I'll order a few that have the pegs like this one. I think I'll order a few of these for Shimano wheels. They're cheap enough. I didn't use this one. There's a crack right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's right there. Yeah, you guys can kind of see it. And B, it's old and yellow, and I happen to know that when you pop these on, it's kind of a one-shot deal. And this has been on a bike already. Someone pried it off. I don't, even though it's better diameter and it would probably protect more, for this GT100 going in and hitting the spokes. It is bigger. I'm just not, that was a lot of work to get that freewheel off. I'm not going to put some piece of junk on that's going to break. That one's going to do something, okay? We got it adjusted where we want it. Let's make sure it gets first gear. Chain feels better, feels less crunchy, so that was a good call. That chain was stretched. And look at that back tire hopping around. Most of that is a really crappy tire. It's not really the rim too bad. A little bit of the rim, but mostly the tire. Hey, where we're going, that's going to be completely acceptable. All right, let's see if we get first. Yeah, we got first. It's good. It's not rubbing on that plastic. And it'd probably help a little bit. It would help the chain not go in. It's not doing much. We're going to leave it be. I'll order some more, and I'll get the right one on there. It's doing something. Maybe it's just making me feel better. Okay, so right now, we got the new chain. It feels a lot better in first, too. Before, it was a little crunchy in first because it was so stretched. Yeah, it's good. There we go. Okay, we are golden, except we got to put this cable back on. We got to tighten this front brake, and we got to find that. Oh, it's right here. We found it. Okay, I'm not a doofus. I'm okay. Thanks, Scout. Thanks for helping find this. I know this is, yeah, no, don't eat it. My dog tried to eat a bowl. The dog that tried to eat a front fastener for a wheel. Scout, it's not edible. Okay, you can't eat it. Sitting there the whole time and I was having a freak out session. All right, let's bolt this back up. Oh, and there's one more thing after this. Yeah. One more thing we got to do. Yeah, in 68, they did not have those goofy wheel locks. Schwinn has these weird little conical aluminum wheel locks that fit in the fork. And in 68, they did not have that. Well, they probably did on some. I don't know exactly when they started doing that all the time. I just know this bike is definitely the original fork, despite someone taking the crown off and being silly. Definitely is the original fork. And you know, we did seat up. That is seated a little bit better. Not too bad. These are just welded together department store wheels. They're not very good. And like I said many times, where we're going, it's going to be okay. We're not going track racing or anything. We're not drafting behind a sprint car trying to go fast. All right, so here we go. We're going to put this back on. Remember I showed you earlier how you compress. Like you can't compress this now. It's right up against the ferrule. But you can press the brake and make sure this cable is in that little holder. And that can give you the inch you need there. And you put that in. And then pull this really tight and pull that ferrule back on. It's not really cooperating, so what we're going to do is use my tool. We're going to use this tool. Make sure that's in there. And then that'll give me the strength I need. I can really pull this. There we go. So what we did was we compressed it with the tool. We made sure this was in here. We made sure this was in here. We shoved it in and we kind of just forced it back in. You don't have to have a tool for that if it's set a little looser or you have a friend grab it. But there we go. There's the front brakes. Oh, we got to tighten the... We're doing good. One last thing to do. It's off again. What's happening here is, I'll show you. Okay, what's happening here is, this is such an old brake. It's probably not greased either, but this spring is more strong on this side. So when you pull it in, it's forcing this spring on this side to do things. But here it's either needs a little grease under there or you undo it and bend it out a little bit and grease it. So we're gonna test my theory. Right now, it's not really centering. See, you see this one here, how it's stuck to the wheel? I have to force it out with my hand. See, that one's doing most of the work. This one's barely moving at all. So we could undo everything and grease it, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop this spring off of here, like that. Then we're gonna bend it up. We're gonna hold the other side, and we're gonna bend this spring up a little. Okay, and before we put it back, we'll put a tiny dab of grease underneath here where it catches. And this doesn't always work all the time, but sometimes it works. If you can get it back in, dude. Okay. Okay, hopefully. Oh, okay. And what we've done is we've made this side move now. And this side is stuck. Great. Yeah, we'll fix it. Like I say, I should have taken the brake apart. Yeah, I can live with that. Yeah, it's not rubbing. All right. Okay, one last thing to do. go. Okay, one last thing to do, and this is a courtesy thing for people on the trail. It's something that when you're riding around a mixed-use trail, you can call out on your left all you want, but most people respond to a little ding, a little bell. I've got some annoying little beepers from the 40s on some of my bikes, and people just seem to love those too. But they're more scared of those when they hear this behind them. When they hear, it's pretty universal when you hear this behind you. Usually people turn and see where you're at. And I've had where you say on your left, and they turn around the wrong way. Like they don't, I'm on your left. That means I'm going to pass you on your left. And some older people, they hear anything behind them and they just spin around their natural way. Like if they're left-handed, they'll spin around to the left. Or, I've had people make some serious boo-boos. And I go slow around people. I'm very careful. But it's pretty universal when you hear a bell and they're far enough away and you have actual hearing. I've had that issue with people too. When you hear a bell, usually you kind of look around and see where they're at. And if you hear a bell and you say on your left, it's courtesy, folks. I see a lot of mountain bikers going really fast and they don't call out. They just think they can jug you and go past while you're walking. Okay, well, maybe you're walking with your dog who's on a long leash, or, maybe you're just not really paying attention because you're out in nature doing your thing. You don't hear any coming because they're going so fast on their mountain bike. I have no problem going fast on their mountain bike. I go fast on bikes sometimes too, just not around people that are walking or with kids or walking their dogs. Be courteous out there, folks. Wear your helmet. And for God's sakes, get a bell or something. They have these cute little ding bells for mountain bikes. They're really small. They weigh like 3 ounces. They weigh like, I don't know. They're really small. They're lightweight. They're like this big, and they go bing. And it's like, okay, put that on your bike. I'm tired of people going really fast and doing really stupid things. Anyway, just pet peeve. Call out. Put a bell on your bike. Ride slow around. Some people are deaf. I've had people that were deaf. I'm like, on your left, ding, ding, ding. They don't even, I go by and I look back like, what's wrong with those people? And they're signing their ASL. Like, oh, dude, they wouldn't have heard me. Like, deaf people got to use trails too. I look back because I was like, what's wrong with these people? And they were, signing. And I was like, oh, shit. I guess the world isn't revolving around me. All right, so I usually put the bell on the right side. That's just me. And also, I usually put the rear brake on the right. That's the way Schwinn did it, and most people are right-handed. And some English bikes have the rear brake on the left because they're lefties over there. But when you're riding a bike, you want to hit the rear brake first really hard, then the front brake. So you're like, boom, 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 boom. That's the best way to stop when you really have to stop. Hit the rear brake first because 70% of your power is in the front. So if you're right-handed, then you're naturally going to want to go here first. But anyway, I always put the bell on the right. That's just me. Yeah, I know. Enough ranting about deaf people and, people that have hearing losses have every right to be on the trail. It's not all about you. It is here in my living room. It's all about me here. Anyway, call out, get a bell. My stepbrother used to have this beat up Schwinn Breeze. And I said, why do you always ride that clunker? It's been sprayed over like 9 times. It was like orange and gray and had like the wrong chain guard on it. And it was just crunchy, and had rusty rims. And I said, Ben, let me hook you up with something. So I gave him a really good bike for his birthday and he never really rode it. And I said, why are you always riding that girl's bike? There's nothing wrong with the Breeze. And he said, I love this bike. And I said, why do you, I know it's a Breeze and it's cool, but I know it works perfectly. We've been through it. He goes, yeah, but the front brake is so squeaky. The rim is so rusty. And I said, yeah, I've been meaning to change that wheel out for you, or at least the pads or something. He goes, no, leave that wheel exactly the way it is. Anyway, when he needed to pass people, he didn't have a bell. He didn't call out. He would just touch his front brake, and it was like, people would be running, man. And then the bike would make that terrible noise even at slow speeds, and he loved it. That was his bell. Worn out, chalky Schwinn pads on a rusty S5 wheel. That was his bell. And, whatever works, whatever lets people know. It's a bell. It's not great. This is not a Schwinn bell. It's some vintage style, though, I can tell. I'll tell you in a minute. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't think it's Schwinn. Sometimes you tighten these so much that the bolt hits the bottom of this and it creates a deadening effect. So make sure that these are the right length and they're not hitting against here. Yeah, that'll work. On your left, on your left, on your left. Oh, wait, they're using sign language. They're not going to hear me. That has happened. So yeah, we got a bell. We got new pads. Let's put this valve cap back on. I always like to run one of these in the front or somewhere on the bike. Like I was saying earlier, it's an English thing, and the English folks, they have a little rubber cap that goes on here to keep the dirt out, because people that ride rallies are allergic to dirt. The way the rallies are made, the way the dyno hubs are made, they have all these seals around the bearing, and they're very concerned about dirt. Some of the rallies even have self-adjusting brake levers, which never really worked. They're very concerned about dirt. Anyway, so there's a little rubber cap that goes on the English style of this. You'll never find it. It's a rally thing. But anyway, it looks better with the little rubber tip, but they're always gone. Anyway, this tightens the valve stem on a tube, and you're not going to reach in there with twigs or anything. And this has saved quite a few people. I've been riding and I've got a slow leak. I'm like, no, check your valve stem. Oh no, it's your valve stem's loose. Oh no, what am I going to do? Well, you're going to tighten it. And they never have one on their bike, but I always put one on just in case. The quality of tubes nowadays is lame, like I was saying. I buy 10 tubes and 8 of them are no good. So even the rubber inside the tube, the seal, it's pretty standard from automotive to bike. You can switch out those Schrader valves, but it's nice to have the tool. Anyway, I always put one on. I'm just goofy like that. I like to have it just because I've saved myself from walking my bike home, and I've saved others. Okay, so this one, we're almost here. I don't think of anything else. We got rid of that crappy chain, and Walmart gave me exactly 118 links. They must have known I'm working on a collegiate. There should be a sign right there, this chain fits collegiate. They should have that there for you. Yeah. Anyway, it was exactly enough. What have we learned? We have learned that some free wheels are really cheap. Okay, so let's give you an overview. We did pretty good. I think we got going on. There's fifth. The back brake is squeaking. I'll probably have to do that same thing I did to the other brake. I'll probably have to get in here and do something here and put some grease. No one ever greases these. You pop these springs out and put some grease behind it. You'd be surprised how even. Nobody likes side pulls. They're always like, oh, they're so uneven. No, there's nothing wrong with a side pull. You have to get in there, take it all apart, grease everything, and use a really skinny 10 millimeter and hold that pinch bolt behind that one and tighten it. And after you do all that, and you make sure these springs are not rusty, and you put grease behind there, and center them up. There's nothing wrong with a side pull brake. Okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right. We got a little time. We've been on here 2 hours and we got one bike done, but you know what? There's more. This copper tone over here, the tires are so bad. I have to try to reseat this back one. It's driving me nuts. Anyway, this one's ready to go. I think we put it on the ground and put the final tighten on it and, go from there. If I can find out where my brain is. Oh, here's my brain. All right. Let's just make sure this is okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Probably could raise the seat up a little bit too on this, but that's later when it's on the ground. All right, let's pop this one off. I'm pretty satisfied with this one. I'll take this to Bennett Creek. Yeah, a little squeaky. Yeah. There we go. What is squeaking here? Yeah, we're gonna have to do the same thing with this back brake. Yeah, we're gonna have to take this apart and grease it and make sure those springs have grease behind the little springs that kick it out. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that, but not today. Oh, we're okay. Okay. Yeah, this is ready. And I will go, now that I fixed Big Red, Fred's old truck, I will put this in the truck and I'm going to go test this tomorrow for sure. Yeah, it's got some up and down hop on the rear wheel and the tires aren't great. But it is a 5-speed now. And, that's what we do. We thrash 5 speeds in the off-road because that's what we do. I'm going to rename the channel. Okay. Yeah, I don't see any problem with this. Yeah, I don't see a problem with this thing. Oh, yeah, this is good. Well, what I'm trying to do right now is, I'm not really trying to scare my dog. What I'm trying to do right now is seat the freewheel back in. We had this freewheel off, and oh, it's doing it right. It's doing it right now. Okay, look. So we had this freewheel off, and I'm trying to seat it. So I'm gonna put on the brakes. And I'm gonna pedal hard. See how it moved. And then because of that, there we go. Because of that, we'll have to adjust the gears again because we've made the freewheel go in towards the center of the hub. So now all those adjustments, they should be okay, but we'll make sure. We'll make sure before we go. All right, so let's see if this is seated. Yeah, seat could be up a little more. Brakes are good. Yeah, it's good. Let's do a bunny hop. Okay. Scout like that, didn't you? You better watch out, but I could land on your tail. Oh, okay, all right. Okay, we're good. Have a treat. Come here, boys. Okay, good boys. All right. I think we're going to try to reseat these tires on this copper tone, but let's read some comments first. I know, guys. We got it going on, man. Okay, that was it. We're all done. Come on, move. All right. Let's pop this on the stand and then we'll jabberjaw some more. So this is a 65. Was a Schwinn racer. Coaster Brake 3. It is now a 5-speed, which I used all Schwinn parts on. So, and I hacksawed the chain guard so it would work, which was not the thing to do. But it is a Schwinn collegiate wannabe, and it's one of my favorite bikes. But it sat in the basement for, a year and a half, at least one bike season. And even though it has a new tire in the front, the back tire is an older reproduction, and it's got one heck of a flat spot. You'll see when I get it up here. We're going to have to really spray it down with some Arbor All or dish soap. Or, man, I'll try anything. This back tire is, you'll see, it's almost unrideable. Watch out, buddy. Oh, there's one more thing I got to do, though. We got to protect the frame from the stand. We don't want this really nice top hat to be messed up, so we're gonna have to wrap it with something here. Because the stand will pinch it. So we're gonna protect. Well, didn't really hit it, but it's protecting up there. It's okay. As long as I don't move it too much. All right, it's okay. It's up here. It's protecting that. I just don't want I don't want that top hat to be messed with. It's really nice. All right, let's check out this back wheel. You guys are gonna love it, man. This thing is really true. Yeah, it's not really the rim on this one. Yeah, it's not really the rim. Maybe a little bit of the rim, but that's a Summit reproduction, 26 by 1.25 Schwinn reproduction tire, and it's been sitting a long time, and that's almost unrideable. You would definitely feel that, especially at high speeds. The front one, well, the front one seems to be just as bad. Okay, so we're gonna try to read some comments because this isn't gonna be fun. It's hard to see the Schwinn tire even when it's brand new. So let me get a drink of water. Hang on. Yeah, it's hard to see a Schwinn tire even when it's brand new and everything's fine. You know. Yeah, we might just have to call it tonight. I'm getting tired and the dogs want their food. Let's see what these comments are talking about. Nicolats. Yeah, his Schwinns are too fancy. Haha. They are showpiece Paramounts, 70 Schwinn channel. But he's got it going on, dude. I mean, he's not going off-roading anywhere and doing the stuff I do, but he's got it going. You have to admit, he's got it going on. Yeah, I sent him a Schwinn Superior just because I know I was never going to get to it. It was non-original paint. Some of the parts were missing, and I was just like, man, this is just up his alley, you know. And I have some fixed gear conversions, taller Schwinns of that. I don't have any Paramounts, but nothing fancy like him. But yeah, he's got it going on, man. You can't say that he doesn't have it going on. Okay, next. Hello from Japan. Checking out now. Biking, huh? Good name. Hello from Japan. Checking out now. I have to go to work. Hey, man. Good for you. All the way from Japan. That's a new one. Wow. Huh. Worldwide. Prestige worldwide. Faulkner fixes all worldwide. Look at this front wheel. I mean, you got to admit, that is just really nice. Look at the tires. Just super true. That's going to be really fun to try to fix. I don't think that's the rim on that one. Maybe a little. You can see the rim moving a little bit. I'm always trying to tell people it's not the rim. It's a little bit the rim, but that's mostly the tire from sitting so long. Needs to be reseated. Like I was saying, Schwinn S5 tires are ridiculously hard to seat anyway. Even new, you really got to put like 100 pounds in them sometimes. Nicolats. Haha, my dogs came running up the stairs when they heard that bicycle bell. See, it works. My dog tried to eat a fastener nut for a front wheel. Let's see. Travis Conister. I remember I wanted them real chrome spinner rims that you can put on a lowrider bike, but I didn't have the money to buy them. So I took plastic chrome hubcaps off of a junkyard car and slapped them on. Awesome, man. You got to do what you got to do. I've seen some kids when I was a garbage man in Richmond, California. There was these kids that would bolt a whole nother front wheel, like with a coupler. They would put a front wheel on their front wheel on each side, 20-inch bike, and they'd put foil in between. They'd like wrap foil on one quadrant of spokes, and then they'd go over and wrap like a mag, and then they'd bolt these two wheels on the front wheel. And when they were riding, they would kick them. They wouldn't have tires on those wheels. They would just kick them, and they would just naturally spin around. It was like they had riding with two spare wheels in the front. It couldn't have been too efficient. But hey, you got to do what you got to do when you're a kid. You want to look cool. You want to do stuff. Let's see. Let's try to get a few more comments here. Nicolets, my local bike shop sells extra thick thorn-proof tubes. I think Goodyear makes them too. Like these right here. Never seen online. At this one bike shop, $20, never have to touch the tube again. Last year's. Yeah, when you get some good thorn-proofs, check the valve stems, man. I swear. I bought some other ones. I was complaining about tubes earlier, but I bought some really thick thorn-proof 27-inch by 1.25 inches. And the pump wouldn't pump them up. The valve stem, the actual peg for the valve was down low. And the only thing that would pump them up was my compressor. My bike pump, which is made by Park, would not pump them up. So I took some valve stems out of some junk car wheels and tried to seat them in there, and they did not seat. I had to put those other ones back in. Just strange what you get nowadays. You got to be really careful. But yeah, thorn-proof tubes. And I bought these today, and I don't know how thick they are. They say they're thicker. Well, they're not like a thorn-proof tube you got back in the day, but they're thicker. Oh, look, they give you the little plastic so you can cut your thumbs, the little tools. Sweet. Love those little break-off specials. Yeah, I love those. They're great. You use them and they snap off on your hand. Okay, let's a couple more comments here. Travis Conister, on my old Mongoose BMX bike, and man, it sounds horrible, but the hubcap was rubbing on the spoke rims, making loud noises, and my friends were just laughing how stupid it looked on my bike going down. Yeah, when I first started working on bikes, this is no lie, one of our neighbors had me fix his French 10-speed, and I was about 11. I was about 10. My mom had to pay him $20. I was supposed to make the $20, but I ruined that bike. Every bolt I touched was just powder. And to this day, I will not ride a French bike. Nothing against French bikes now. This was a really old French 10-speed. I don't know, sprayed silver, but my job was to change some cables or something. And it had sew-up tubes. It was that old. It had sew-ups, and I messed those up too. And I broke all the bolts that hold the brake. Every bolt, like this little bolt here, the bolt that holds the cable, I broke that off. The bolt that holds the adjuster barrel piece, I broke that off. It was all just really weak aluminum from the 60s or something. I don't know. The bike was in really bad shape. And I didn't know any better. He's like, yeah, fix this up. I'll give you $20. I messed that thing up so bad. And me and my mom still laugh about this. She had to pay him $20. To this day, I will not ride a foreign bike. I will not ride any bike that's not made here in America. I rarely work on them. I have maybe one in the basement I want to sell, and I haven't tested that one. No, I don't ride them. I don't work on them. Sorry. It's American. I hate to be so a national guy. I hate to be this way, but it's American bikes are nothing for me. There you have it. I don't know who that is. I think my daughter's trying to call me. I think it's time to end this one, guys. I really want to seat these tires, and tell me in the comments tomorrow or tonight, and I'll do another live feed tomorrow, and we'll try to fix this. But I am taking that other bike. I am taking that one. I am taking that 68 to Bent Creek. So let me know in the comments if you want to see another video of me dialing this in. It's difficult. These S5 tires never seat. Oh, they do when they're brand new. And I'll try the Dawn dish soap thing. I'll try the silicone spray. I'll try the Armor All. Maybe both of these combined. Anything to get that to slip over the rim and make it right. But my experience tells me, especially on this back one, it's probably just toast. It probably just sat so long. Okay, a couple more comments, and then I got to go. Travis Conister, the road rubbing rim so loud. I promise I can probably hear me coming a mile away. Yeah, that's what my stepbrother was like. He was just like, no, don't fix the front brakes. I love these front brakes. And he would just tap it a little bit. People would be walking at the Berkeley campus or something. People running out of his way. They thought he was going really fast, and he was going really slow. It's just an old girl's 3-speed breeze. He was probably going 8 miles an hour, but they would hear that squealing, and they would just bolt out of the way, and he loved it. He didn't have a bell. That was his bell. Let's see. Randy, Schwinn for the win. Yeah, man. I can't deal. It has to be. I've got some other bikes that are not Schwinn, but they're American. I've got a 1920 Ivor Johnson. Now, the 1920 Ivor Johnson, that is an actual antique bike. Okay, guys, get it straight. Vintage is under 100 years old, 30 years old. Antique is 100 years old. This is not an antique bike. Okay, it will be someday. I only have a couple of bikes that are antiques, and this is vintage. 100 years is antique. Get it straight. Schwinn for the win. Okay, Travis, Schwinn for life. I love them old Schwinns made in the USA. Yeah, man, nothing beats that quality. Where are you gonna find a race that just came off of a 68 Schwinn? This was the original top race. Where are you going to find something like that? There's absolutely maybe a little wear. That just came off the top of that black bike. Okay, granted, I didn't use this one because it was all jacked up, but the bottom one always takes there's a Brenneling chip there. The bottom one always takes the load. But In my defense, somebody was in that bike. The crown was missing, and that's why we changed it out. So somebody was in here and didn't grease this. Like, I've seen these bottom ones pretty messed up, but look at this top one. You don't find stuff like that. That's almost new. Look how Schwinn hardened that. You get a bike from Walmart or something. Dude, you're taking your life in your own hands. Okay, Travis, have a nice rest of the night, man. Take care. Yeah, I'm going to end it, guys. I've been jabbering. The dogs are hungry. My daughter just called me. I got stuff to do. And let me know if you guys want to see this tomorrow. I'll try to reseat it. And that's all I can really do. I don't have any S5 new tires to go on this. The back ones they're both really bad. Take a look at this thing. It's like whoopie whoop. Yeah, let me know, guys. I'll see if you guys, if enough people chime in. Yeah, that's the back rim too, but most of that's actually the tire. Chime in. Let me know if you want another live feed tomorrow. It won't be just this bike. I'll make it interesting. I'll pull something out of the vault, out of the grotto. Oh, Randy said yipper. Okay. Tomorrow around 3 or 4. All right, guys. Have a good one. I got to feed these mutts and call people. I'd like to see you build a Pee Wee Herman. Yeah, I got this chopper for sale. You should scroll down in my videos. I think the chopper video is on there. It's made out of like 3 different. Okay, man. Good. I got stuff to do. I could work on bikes till midnight. I love it. Okay, good.